The Witherbone. In the Valley of Blessings, a bubble of water found Darren, where he stood at a river watching it slow by, and blushed the paintings in the water surrounded by the other spirits dwelling in the land throughout the valley. All the son saw was every with uncertain different abilities. A little mouse hushed by and asked, "There's someone blooming the blossoms, speaking them into air. Darren, why don't you do that?" He watched the waters, thought quietly, and replied, "I don't know. They always seem to fade by me, think I want to pick them." Rashing through the leaves, the mouse wasn't anywhere seen anymore. Confused, Diamond looked up, but soon resided along the waters again, the crest of the sun's rays flowing through the valley, giving the day its due, crackling under footsteps. Some fox sat down next to the river and found him thinking still, watching the reflections and taking his face away because it all stayed the same. So the sun hid behind the fog, and the forest dwelling around him was left at no noise. Along to it, spellings from the snake's mouth reached him as he touched a leaf, but it turned to ash. "That seems frustrating," it smiled. Huh? He looked up again, but the snake was gone. And while he walked in the valley, he found himself thinking about why that which blooms he all turns to ash, and the blossoms fade when he reaches to it, thinking and getting lost in his thought. A raindrop rashed the leaves, reminding him of the mouse, and he looked away from his thoughts, finding nothing, and so he continued walking alongside the river, but the fog had not been shrouded for longer, so he saw leaves, so in their own beauty that he desired all to pour water from the river to the tree and make it bloom. Within a moment of notice he was about to walk back to the river to collect water, and while looking away he told to his shadow, "Let's at least do that." The shadow not replying, he waited there, making then the first step to the river, viewing the waters, but there was no shadow in there, only by a shrouded fog, a small shade on his breath beneath the neck. "You don't hush, do you?" he said. Shadow hushed a small step. Darren looked away, suddenly struck with nausea, still looking at the shadow. "Confused you neither," he stated. Shadow looked away. "You tire me," he said again. The shadow lurked around, so he put his neck onto the shadow and wanted to sleep, but fell down in darkness, and as he looked away, his body had walked a step behind the shadow, lurking to its corner, but still he fell into it. That's when he looked around his neck and stumbled upon Morphia. Quietly she sat there and had said nothing the whole time, but now she blushed to happiness. "Finally, you're awake," she meant in with tones like flowers. "I've been blooming the flowers in all the valley, but you didn't notice me, so I spoke with wide ears like the sun's crest and open tone for a sparkling of noises, but you didn't notice me, so neither do the people in the valley. I can only sleep and not wake from to the light." Darren looked at her. "You're beautiful." She jumped in front of his eyes, looking at him. "For the flowers it's the same, but they wither. Tell me, why is that?" Darren looked at her still. "You're beautiful," he uttered again. "You think that's it? They don't wake either." Honestly, Darren didn't know. "So I did. How did you get here?" she asked. "I followed the shadows because I was tired." "Well, then now I have someone that walks around with me while I sleep," she figured. "Well, usually all turns to ash when I want to help it, so I followed the shadow," he said. She cuddled her next to his and closed her eyes. "Well, good that you did that, so only the shadow is then gone, and you can still walk with me in my sleep." "I could show you the way to the valley," he said. "I only need to follow the shade that was there." "Huh, I don't know if I want to be awake again." She smiled and closed next to his eyes her own. So Darren found himself not thinking, still looking at Morpheus, slowly still walking till there was no fog at all. But this time he didn't want to look up, so he remained there, laughing and talking